Son kept on ignoring her mother's last wish, but at the time of getting her inheritance, he finds out she left everything under a homeless man's name. Clara Evans, a strong-willed woman in her 70s, sat in her lavish office overlooking the bustling streets of New York City. Her once vibrant health was fading, burdened by a serious illness that had taken hold of her. Time was slipping away, and she knew she had one final mission to fulfill before her journey ended, securing the future of her vast empire. With a deep sense of urgency, Clara beckoned her son Mike into her office. Mike, a carefree and content 45-year-old, entered the room with a nonchalant smile, his mind preoccupied with the next party he planned to attend. Oblivious to his mother's mounting concern, he plopped into a plush chair. "Mike, we need to talk," Clara said, her voice trembling with emotion. Mike, barely registering the gravity of his mother's tone, responded casually. "Sure, Mom, what's up?" Clara's eyes locked with her son's, determination burning brightly within them. She began to share her hopes and dreams, her grand plans for Mike to carry on her legacy, to take over the successful business and real estate holdings she had painstakingly built over the years. Clara poured her heart out, expressing her desire for her empire to continue thriving long after she was gone. But Mike's attention waned, his mind drifting to the lure of pleasure and leisure. He listened half-heartedly, his eyes glazing over as he imagined a life filled with endless parties and carefree indulgence, completely oblivious to the weight of his mother's words. Days turned into weeks, and Clara's health deteriorated at an alarming rate. Her once vibrant spirit began to fade, leaving her confined to her bed, her energy diminishing with each passing day. She clung to the hope that Mike would awaken to the importance of his role, that he would embrace the responsibility she had entrusted to him. Then, on a quiet night when the city was enveloped in darkness, Clara's heart ceased to beat. The news of her passing shattered the silence within the Evans household, casting a somber pall over its inhabitants. While the weight of grief rested upon their shoulders, Mike couldn't help but feel a flicker of elation deep within him. Finally, the wealth and power he had longed for were within his grasp. As Clara's lifeless body lay in repose, Mike's mind danced with visions of opulence and grandeur. He envisioned himself at the helm of Clara's empire, indulging in a life of luxury without having to lift a finger. His anticipation grew, buoyed by the belief that his every wish was about to come true. With a spring in his step, Mike set out to claim his inheritance, his heart racing with excitement. He made his way to the lawyer's office, eager to seize the wealth that awaited him. The door creaked open, revealing a solemn-faced lawyer, a hint of sorrow etched upon his features. "Mr. Evans, I'm afraid I have some news," the lawyer said, his voice tinged with regret. Mike's enthusiasm faltered, replaced by a growing sense of unease. He forced a smile, his voice trembling as he asked, "What's the matter?" The lawyer cleared his throat, and with each word, the weight of reality began to crush Mike's expectations. "I'm sorry to inform you, but nothing is under your name, Mr. Evans. There seems to have been a different arrangement made." Confusion and disbelief surged through Mike's veins as the lawyer's words hung in the air. How could this be? His dreams of an effortless life slipping through his fingers like sand. Trying to make sense of it all, the lawyer handed Mike a sealed envelope. "Clara left a letter for you," the lawyer said, his voice gentle yet laden with a narrative surprise that lay in wait. Mike's hands trembled as he tore open the envelope, his heart pounding in his chest. The letter contained Clara's final words, written with love and a wisdom that caught him off guard. As he read, the truth slowly unraveled before his eyes, unveiling the depths of his mother's decision and the secrets she had kept. In the letter, Clara expressed her disappointment in Mike's choices, his lack of ambition, and his self-centered lifestyle. She revealed that her wealth and empire were not destined for him. Instead, they had been entrusted to another, a person Mike had never known, Clara's homeless brother. As Mike absorbed the shocking revelation, emotions churned within him. Betrayal mingled with regret, and a sense of profound loss gripped his heart. The suspense and tension built as the realization sunk in. His mother had seen through his shallow desires and made a calculated decision based on karma and deserving. Mike's world crumbled around him as he processed the shocking revelation in Clara's letter. The once enticing prospects of wealth and power now felt like distant illusions. Determined to uncover the truth, he delved deeper into the circumstances surrounding his mother's decision, seeking answers that lay hidden within the folds of her carefully crafted words. With a mix of trepidation and desperation, Mike returned to the lawyer's office, his mind buzzing with questions. The room was suffused with an air of anticipation, suspense swirling around him like a cloak. The lawyer greeted him with a somber expression, his eyes filled with sympathy for Mike's plight. "Mr. Evans, I understand that this has come as a shock to you," the lawyer began, his voice laden with a weight that mirrored the gravity of the situation. "But there is more to the story. Clara had her reasons for choosing her brother over you." Mike leaned forward, his gaze locked on the lawyer's face, his heart pounding with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "Tell me everything," he urged, his voice tinged with a hint of desperation. The lawyer sighed, his voice lowering as if sharing a well-guarded secret. "Clara's brother, your uncle, had fallen on hard times and found himself living on the streets. She believed in second chances, redemption, and the power of transforming one's life. She saw potential in him and chose to give him the opportunity to rebuild himself." The words hung in the air, creating a moment of silence that felt like an eternity. Mike's mind swirled with conflicting emotions, anger, confusion, and a nagging sense of injustice. How could his own mother leave him out in the cold, favoring a stranger who had never even crossed his path? Unable to contain his curiosity any longer, Mike pressed the lawyer further. "Where is he? Where can I find my uncle?" The lawyer hesitated, contemplating whether to divulge the information. Finally, he relented, understanding the depth of Mike's need for answers. He handed Mike a slip of paper with an address scrawled on it. "He can be found at a shelter not far from here. But I must warn you, Mike, things are not as straightforward as they seem." As Mike's heart raced with anticipation, he made his way to the shelter. Suspense coiled around him like a tight knot, each step bringing him closer to the unknown. The visual surprises that awaited him danced in his imagination, the image of a long-lost uncle forever changing his perception of family and fortune. Entering the shelter, Mike's eyes scanned the room, searching for a familiar face among the downtrodden and destitute. And there, in a far corner, amidst the sea of forgotten souls, sat a figure that seemed oddly out of place. Mike approached cautiously, his emotions in turmoil. The man before him bore a striking resemblance to Clara, with weathered features that mirrored years of hardship and struggle. His eyes, though tired, flickered with a glimmer of hope as he caught sight of Mike. Are you Clara's brother?" Mike asked, his voice trembling with a mix of disbelief and longing. The man nodded, his voice filled with a quiet strength. "Yes, I am. She told me about you, her son, who she hoped would find his own path." Tension filled the air as their eyes locked, the weight of Clara's decisions hanging heavily between them. Mike's emotions swirled, torn between the bitterness of being left out and a newfound understanding of his mother's intentions. In the midst of their tense reunion, the narrative surprises continued to unfold. The homeless brother, once dismissed as insignificant, now held the key to Mike's redemption, offering a path that defied his expectations. Mike stood before his long-lost uncle, their eyes locked in a moment of profound significance. The shelter's dimly lit room seemed to fade into the background as a powerful realization washed over Mike. This encounter held the potential to transform not only his own life but also his perception of wealth, power, and the true meaning of success. Driven by a mixture of desperation and determination, Mike reached out to his uncle, his voice laced with a newfound humility. "Uncle, I understand now. I see why my mother chose you. I want to make amends, to embrace the path she intended for me." His uncle's eyes softened, touched by the sincerity in Mike's voice. "It's not too late, Mike," he replied, his tone carrying a glimmer of hope. "But you must be willing to walk a different road, to learn from your past mistakes." The tension in the room began to dissipate, replaced by a shared understanding and the promise of a second chance. Mike and his uncle embarked on a journey of reconciliation and transformation, their paths converging in unexpected ways. Together, they forged a bond built on mutual respect and a shared vision for the future. Mike listened intently as his uncle revealed the depth of his experiences, the challenges he had faced, and the lessons he had learned. Each story unfolded like a narrative surprise, painting a vivid picture of resilience, determination, and the power of redemption. Guided by his uncle's wisdom, Mike began to rebuild his life from the ground up. He immersed himself in the intricacies of the business world, absorbing knowledge and honing his skills. Gone were the days of hedonistic indulgence and careless living. In their place, a sense of purpose and responsibility took root, fueling his journey towards personal growth and professional success. As Mike's net worth slowly dwindled, the visual surprises unfolded. It was a test of his commitment, a trial by fire to determine his true worthiness. With each setback, Mike pushed forward, driven by the memory of his mother's legacy and the desire to prove himself. Meanwhile, Clara's empire, now under his uncle's capable leadership, thrived and expanded. The once homeless brother had transformed into an influential and powerful figure, creating an empire that surpassed Clara's wildest dreams. The contrast between their destinies, once so inconceivable, now served as a testament to the power of karma and the intricacies of life's grand design. Despite the challenges and setbacks, Mike refused to waver. He embraced the humility and resilience that had become his guiding principles. It was a journey of self-discovery, a profound emotional engagement with his own shortcomings and the strength to overcome them. In a stunning twist of fate, as Mike's fortune dwindled, his uncle extended a hand of opportunity. The empire, now 10 times the size it had once been, offered Mike a chance at redemption. He found himself standing on the other side of the table, now an employee within the very organization he had once hoped to inherit. If you loved the story, consider checking the videos on the screen, and support us by liking the video, subscribing the channel and commenting your favorite part of video. See you in next one.